Greetings everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. I'd like to say welcome to another day of landscape photography, but I'm not sure that's what this is. So today is a typical early spring day here in England in that it's raining. The temperature's okay. Temperature's fine, it's raining. I've travelled to Wastwater in the Lake District National Park. Rain is forecast at least until midday, although frustratingly it seems to have stopped, which is a little bit frustrating, but there we go, never mind. But I was searching for something to do. I've got effectively 2 hours, or I knew I had 2 hours to kill. And I thought to myself, right, okay, so what am I going to do to fill that 2 hours? I'm not just going to sit in the car and snooze. I want to do something constructive. I want to do something photographic. And I remember seeing an image years ago from, I think the photographer's name was David Tarn, where he'd gone away somewhere for a number of days, and for the duration of that number of days it rained every single day. And rather than give up, he went out every single day, as I have done today, and was determined to make the most of it. And the image that he ended up taking, or the result of 3 days out in the landscape, or sat in his car waiting for the rain to stop, was a landscape image, but taken through a rain-soaked windshield. And that's exactly what I've tried to replicate here. So I've deliberately travelled down the lake. I didn't record it, but I've positioned my car in a parking lay-by where I'm looking down the lake towards what I know is some mountainous interest, some interlocking hills. It's a bit difficult because the interlocking hills are actually covered in low cloud, but I've given myself a reasonable chance at having a go at replicating what David Tarn actually did. So now I'm sat in the car and I'm waiting for that combination of rain and water blur and so forth to flow down the windshield in order to create that sort of creative, blurry, indistinct, impressionist type effect. Right, I've switched to my Olympus camera to show this piece because I know how to do this in the Olympus. To take the images I will use my Sigma, but for the purposes of what I want to show you next, I'm going to use my Olympus camera. Now what's really important in order to achieve that effect is that I need to not focus on the landscape this time. I need to focus on the raindrops that are running down the windshield. So let me move to the Olympus. Okay, so there's my landscape scene. I'm in manual focus, and that's focusing on the landscape. So you can see, this shoreline here is nice and sharp. The edge of Kirkfell there is nice and sharp. But that doesn't look very creative and clever, does it? So if we move the focus point to now be on the raindrops instead, just look at how indistinct the landscape features become. Now again, like any other good photograph, it needs to be composed. There has to be elements that interest the viewer, lead the viewer, all that sort of thing. So looking around the landscape is a good place to start. Now, in terms of focusing, I'm sort of trying to focus here, because of course the windshield slopes upwards, so it's furthest away here and nearer here. So I'm just trying to bring, where are we? There we go. So something like so. And that view works quite well. That's actually the road that runs down the side of the lake. I think that's Kirk Fell, and then you've got Westwater over here. So that as a view sort of works. I think I'd want to zoom in a little bit just to reduce the impact of that bright area, make this winding road a little bit more obvious. And then of course you've got the mountain in the distance. And also using this effect, doesn't it look like the mountain's covered in snow? Even though in reality, I move the focus, whoops, not that way. You can't really tell, but I assure you it isn't. So that's what I'm going to have a play with. And what's quite handy actually is the rain has kicked off again, which is quite nice because it's covering my windshield in nice handy drops of rain. Right, please forgive the background noise, but I've had to start the engine and I've had to put the fan on because the windshield was misting up. So the way I'm going about this is very simple, like I demonstrated with the previous footage from the Olympus. I'm focusing on the raindrops on the windshield. I'm using an aperture of f2.8 in order to keep the focus on the raindrops and not allow any of the landscape features in the distance to be sharp. I want them to be indistinct, and I'm still applying all the usual landscape rules. So I'm looking for bookends, I'm looking for bases, I'm looking for something to be contained within the picture, for it to be relatively obvious what it is that I'm actually trying to say with the image and not leave the viewer too confused. So whilst I've got raindrops falling and I've got these lovely what you call them, water, river, the way that raindrops run down a glass surface, I've got all of that sort of texture running on the windshield. I'm now going to make the most of that whilst it's here, and yeah, I shall show you the resultant images. So this has actually been a lot more entertaining and a lot more successful than I actually thought it was going to be. When I first hit record on this video, really didn't think that it would work in terms of it actually working as a piece of content. But I mean, I don't know, we'll find out when we get home and we go to the editing suite and see what we can do. But just to recount sort of a bit of a lesson that I learned whilst I was doing this, was that I actually experimented a little bit with apertures. Certainly for those images that contained the road, it needed a little bit more depth of focus in order for the road to be clearer in the final image. f2.8, the road was too indistinct. So that's a lesson learned. Don't just lean on f2.8, actually have a play with all the range of apertures and see what you get. But it's been an experiment, an interesting experiment for me. It has actually just stopped raining. It is now 10 to 12, and this is the point at which the rain allegedly should ease off. So I'm going to wrap this one up here. I hope it's been useful and interesting. Next time, if you're ever out in the landscape and it's doing what it's been doing today and you're in your car, try and consider doing what I've just done. Give it a go, give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At the end of the day, I firmly believe what you choose to do with your camera is just as important as those things that you choose not to do. So if you try it and it's not for you, fine, it's not for you. go and find some other way of embracing the rain. So I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you very much for watching. Please like if you've enjoyed the content, comment if you have anything you wish to say, and please do subscribe to my channel as well if you're not already a subscriber. So until the next one, stay well, stay safe, keep exploring with your camera, and I shall see you on my next video. Until then, take care, stay well, and stay safe. Bye for now.